Patreon is a direct funding method that allows you to support the things you love.
And I have created a 47-slide deck that will tell you exactly how it works in detail.
Wait,
Here we go. Slide number one.
No, Anthony.
As you can see by this graph.
I was just going to quickly tell them about patreon.com/wehaveconcerns and a way to support our show. You don't need to do that.
Everybody needs to see a chart, Jeff. Slide number one. I'm so angry. I can't even.
Can't even words.
I can't words about Cable Guy. I was so mad today about how it all works. I can't even discuss. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Kanai.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
Oh, it's so much anger at the top.
Well, let me give you something to chew on here. If you want, if you got an axe to grind, you got some masticating
You know what really
to do.
grinds my gears?
No, this is actually a really insanely awesome story. This is one of the coolest stories that we've gotten in a long time. This was sent in to us by Joel. He sent it to wehaveconcernshow@gmail.com, where you can always send stories for our consideration on the show.
He told us not to tell, but it was Joel McHale. Joel McHale sent this story.
You ruined it. You ruined his
I know
anonymity.
we're not supposed to let him, but he's a big fan.
He's a huge fan.
He specifically said he loves what I do. And
So this is a story about the color blue.
it's a great color.
Yes, it is a great color. But what if, Anthony, what if we as human beings couldn't even see the color blue until
It's the
very
worst
recently?
issue of What If I ever read.
What if Wolverine couldn't see blue?
Wolverine kills Hulk. That's a great one. Spider-Man keeps his cosmic powers. That's a great one.
Yeah.
People can't see blue is shitty. It's mostly Captain America being mistaken for U.S. agent.
Spider-Man is just in the black costume constantly. No, but this is legit. This is legit. There is some evidence to suggest that until relatively recently in the history of human beings, we may not have had blue as a color.
What? That's
I know
ridiculous.
it blew my mind too. But there is no word for the color blue in many ancient languages. There's no word for the color blue in ancient Greek, not in ancient Chinese, not in ancient Japanese, not in Hebrew. Nobody had a word for blue, right?
Uh-huh.
Not only that, but ancient texts like the Odyssey, Homer's The Odyssey, constantly is describing...
I'm not familiar, but go on.
You know, Homer... No, different Homer.
Is that your one?
No, that was done. That was done. That was not even... I don't even... Homer's The Odyssey spends a ton of time talking about the colors of things.
Yeah.
Talking about sunsets and talking... I guess the words black and the words white are mentioned 200 times.
Okay.
Red is mentioned 15 times. Yellow and green, fewer than 10. But you know what is never mentioned? Blue. In fact, when he describes the color of the sea, he describes it as being wine-colored. Like a wine-colored sea.
Okay. That's... Huh. Now, I've heard about this before. I've heard I've heard about the fact that designers and artists and people who are in more visually things where they need that sort of like color theory and that visual acuity can see and name more colors on a spectrum than other people. But I've always wondered if that doesn't just mean that we've named different shades. Like, does this mean the Greeks couldn't see blue, or does this just mean they lumped the blue and purple ends of the spectrum together and didn't name blue?
Well, that's the question, right? It gets even crazier because this researcher named Jules Davidoff traveled to Namibia and investigated a Himba tribe, which speaks a language that has no word for blue and has no distinction in their language between blue and green. And he showed them an image on a screen that was a whole bunch of green swatches and one blue swatch. And he asked them to tell him which one was different. And they couldn't do it.
Is this an anthropologist Is this an anthropologist, sociologist? Who is this? Because this
is a researcher named Jules Davidoff.
just a researcher.
Researcher.
One researcher is as good as the next. This sounds like somebody who is in the social sciences going and doing the experiment. I don't know if this was because did he test the physical structure of their eyes? Do we know if they don't have rods and cones for blue?
No, he didn't do any kind of
we have
physical.
No idea
none
about
in this article.
Nothing in the physiology is in the article. Also, if you show me a picture of two things and they're both in the same category for me linguistically,
well, look at this.
All right, because I'm thinking.
Look at those circles. There's 12 swatches of green right there.
There are.
Which one is different?
That one.
Which one?
Like 2 o'clock. 1 or 2 o'clock.
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. I don't see a difference. I have to look really, really hard.
I took one of these color tests and I killed
You're the
it.
color king.
I'm the fucking color king, dude.
You're like,
if I could market that shit, I would, there's no need
you're gonna get
for
a
it.
job at Kinko's.
Yeah.
There you go.
I could calibrate the color copiers.
There you go. That is a dream come true.
It's actually kind of hellish working in video and doing it because I can see things that other people would let go.
Yeah.
And I'd just
How's
be
my
like,
complexion?
I'd just be like, it's bullshit like it normally is. So this is my thing. You show me those 12 green swatches. Which is different? You know that one of them is different.
Right.
You know that we're looking for different shades of green and you don't see it.
I don't.
Right? But if you show me blue and green and I only have a name for blue and you go, which one's different? Nothing. They're both green because that's the fucking name we have for it. If you show me you're an Italian.
You're saying this is a semantic argument. You're saying he couldn't communicate
I'm thinking he
properly with
couldn't
these
communicate the semantics. I am saying you're from an Italian family. I've got a lot of Italian in my family. If I put down, like a standard meat sauce and a bechamel, you can tell the difference, right?
Yeah.
You can tell the difference.
I love this analogy.
My
by the
fucking
way.
wife can't tell the difference. They're both red sauce.
Right.
They're both red sauce. You
Right.
put it on pasta. It's fucking red sauce.
She's the Himba tribe.
She's the Himba
of
tribe
sauces.
of sauces.
Best analogy of all time.
Thank you.
That's why you are the color king.
That's why I'm the color king.
With a side of sauce.
I'm the color king and I'm the analogy king.
I don't know. I think
All
you're
of the
discounting
unmarketable skills are mine. Bring me all of your liberal arts education. I will take it all in and spit out bullshit think pieces for the internet.
You hear about the color king? Yeah, he has a day job at Kinko's and he works nights as a waiter at Olive Garden. He's amazing.
And he's so smart. He thinks he's so smart, the color king.
He wears that scarf.
He went to a fancy college where you create your own curriculum. Ooh, the color king. Bring me another Pepsi, color king.
He wears that scarf all the time. Oh, that red scarf? Oh no, it ain't red.
It's wine colored.
Like the sea.
like the very sea from which we came.
I think you're discounting this. I really think there's more to it than this. I think there's got to be something to the fact that at no point does anybody ever refer to the color of the sky in any of these ancient texts that these people.
I do think that because, like I said, because there was training in color theory or whatever, or people who are designers, I think there are physical differences, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you can have physical differences with your eyes. There can be physiological things, and then I think there can be differences in like educational differences, knowledge differences. So if I don't know to look for the difference between blue and green, yeah, maybe my brain just sees blue and green as the same because it's pattern recognition and it's simplistic and it's the easiest way to do things. But I don't know. It's fascinating to me.
This guy studied Icelandic sagas, the Quran, ancient Chinese stories, ancient Hebrew versions of the Bible, the Hindu Vedic hymns.
Oh, this guy's got all the best weed.
He spent a lot of time. He said they all talk, they're brimming with descriptions of the sky. They talk about the sunset. They talk about all this stuff. Not at any point do they mention that the sky is blue.
Do you think he can speak Elvish?
I bet he can.
You can speak
probably,
Elvish, can't he?
And probably,
He can probably speak all the fantasy languages like Elvish and Chinese. You could probably speak dwarf.
Yeah.
But also Portuguese, like all the fake languages.
Little Klingon.
Yeah.
Probably some Klingon.
Like Klingon, and then like Swedish.
Yeah.
Like all the fake
all
language.
the useless,
all the
fake-
bullshit fake languages that magical creatures speak.
Right. No, but dude, I think you're really not giving this enough credit.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
That's mind blowing to me.
I think there is a thing where if we do not know to look for differences, if we do not know to look for something, our brain may skip it over. I absolutely believe this may be a possibility.
Well, he's saying that because blue doesn't really appear very often in nature, like you're not finding blue.
Yeah,
animals.
it's not like you find it up in the fucking sky.
Well, yeah, but what if they just?
Oh, it never appears in nature. He says in Elvish while he sits on his beanbag chair. I'm telling you, you can't just send any motherfucker in. This guy literally just said you don't find blue in nature very often. Look away from your copy of the Silmarillion and up into the sky,
They
asshole.
never described the sky. That's what I'm saying. They never have.
He's saying you don't find blue very often in nature.
You don't. There aren't any blue animals, and there's very few
Birds.
Well, okay. Name one bluebird.
Well, there's the bluebird of happiness that lives on my fucking shoulder, Jeff. There's that bluebird. He says this guy's bullshit. He says what? This guy can't crane his neck up? Who the fuck is this guy?
Why is he bringing you this wine-colored scarf?
It's because it's after 5, Jeff.
Oh.
And I'm civilized.
Helping you get dressed like Snow White over here. I don't know.
If only there was a place where I could go out my door and see blue in nature.
But that's my point. Like, what if, you know how when you think about olden days, you imagine it black and white because that's how you always saw pictures of it?
And because that's how it was.
What if that's exactly how it was?
That's
What
a
if they
Calvin
could
and
only
Hobbes
see?
comic, right? Where he asks his dad why photographs are in black and white, and he says photographs aren't in black and white. The world was in black and white, and it turned color around 1956. And then he's like, well, what about paintings? He's like, well, painters were crazy people. He's like, also,
I'll buy it.
He's like, also, they were paintings, so they turned color with everything else, but photographs are from machines. So, like, it was a really funny comic.
He says the last color to appear in every language is the color blue. The only ancient culture to develop a word for blue was the Egyptians, and they were also the only culture that had a way to produce blue dye.
Okay. But, like, I keep coming back to the sky, though.
But that's what I'm saying. What if they looked up in the sky and they didn't think of it as being a color? They thought that's just sky.
Oh,
like that's sky, but nothing else is that, so that doesn't need to be a color. It's just sky.
Sky is the absence of.
Yeah. It's like looking at your skin, and we don't have a color for what our skin is.
Of course we do.
Not really. We don't have a word for the color of our
You
skin.
can call it a tan, you can call it a peach, you can call it a brown, you can call it call it whatever. And if that's not one of, and if they could see that, I'm just saying, like, if sky is the absence of, how can we see clouds in it?
That's a good point.
Also, how
And this
high
is
are
really
we?
good weed.
How high are we? We're higher than this researcher, quote unquote researcher. I'll just assume, guys, that when I am saying researcher from here on out, I'm doing quote fingers.
Yeah, you got quote fingers.
Just let me know.
Permanent. Your bird is just doing quote fingers
Yeah, he's
for
doing
you.
he's doing quote feathers. No,
It's really frustrating to me that you are just throwing this out.
I'm not throwing it out
garbage. Because
I'm not throwing it out as garbage. I'm just saying.
I think this is the coolest thing I've ever heard.
I'm saying. I'm not throwing it out as garbage. What I'm saying to you is, I don't think that there's ever been a time where we can't see blue. Quote fingers.
Right.
I think it's
You're
just
saying it's
lumped
not-
into a spectrum with other colors.
You're saying
Which
it's
may be a semantic thing. We may be saying the same thing. But I'm saying, like, they either saw the ocean and the sky as wine colored or green or whatever. They didn't have a word for blue because blue was part of a spectrum of 2 different colors. That doesn't mean they physically couldn't see.
But if you looked at tree,
Yeah.
and you looked at sky,
yeah.
and you thought they were both the same color,
Light green, dark green.
green, dark green. See, but that makes that. I think that is
Look, Jeff,
a
can I
remarkable
level
thing.
with you?
Level with me, man.
Ancient civilizations were full of fucking morons. We're better than all of them.
I don't think that's true.
We got computers.
We do, but they had like
We got
pyramids.
robots. We got
and shit.
robots that, like, they fucking vacuum.
They do. None of them had a Roomba.
They never had a
That's
Roomba.
true.
They didn't even have a word for Roomba.
They didn't have any word for Roomba?
They had no word for vacuum.
What?
Yeah. So I'm saying these people were dumb they were dumb from go. I'm not surprised they didn't have a word for blue.
Maybe
They didn't have
all
a word
their...
for most shit. They didn't have a word for ice cream. How smart are they?
What?
Yeah.
Now I don't even know what
There's
to think.
no ancient Sumerian text that mentions ice cream. And
Not
I know
in-
because I've read all of them out loud trying to summon a demon.
Yeah. That's very strange. You think that something that's bound in human skin would at least mention ice cream.
You would think so. You would think so.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I'm doing an ancient ice cream raising ritual.
Oh, wow.
Or turning everybody into bats.
Well, you don't know which? It's not clear?
I'm only in Sumerian 201. But like,
Well, you're going to just go ahead with it?
I'm just going to go ahead with it.
So we either get like delicious chocolate sundaes?
Yeah. Well, not we, I.
Oh. I'm not going to get any chocolate sundaes?
No, but you could turn into a bat.
Well, that doesn't seem fair. Why am I even helping you? I want to get some of the sundae. We're not hoping for bat. Are you hoping for bat?
You're helping me for credit.
Well,
I'm a TA. You're helping me for credit.
I want credit. I'm
Yeah.
not saying I don't want credit.
All right.
I'm saying I want credit.
Then cut your hand open with this knife. And let's get me a sundae.
Well, you're going to share the sundae?
You're the worst. Just cut your hand open.
Okay. That's smart.
Oh, no, it's bats. It's definitely bats.
Oh, my back.
You know what's funny is they didn't even have a word for bat.
They didn't.
I don't know how they turned everybody into bats or how I knew it was going to be bats. Huh.
Did the bat taste like ice cream?
I was reading it ice cream. It was definitely bat.
It's all semantics, I
All
guess.
semantics.
I don't know, man. I think blue was invented late. I think people just figured out that stuff is blue.
Well, I think there are objects, feelings, emotions, things like that I think people feel, and without having a word to name them,
yeah.
I think you don't know what that feeling is, or you don't realize you're feeling it. I think
Do you
there's.
think they never felt blue?
I think they never. Oh,
they
you
were just-
fucking guy!
They were just
You fucking guy!
happy-go-lucky ancient people.
But you know, I think there is something where you can absolutely skip over information if you don't understand it, and if you don't have a name for it, and if you haven't learned about it. I don't want to minimize your sense of wonder about this.
I think this is amazing.
it's cool.
You think that, like, in ancient times, there was a guy who was like, hey, Mel, I'm going to hold my breath as long as I can.
Okay.
And if you see anything going wrong,
Yeah.
you tell me to stop.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if you see any indication, any sign that there's a problem with me holding my breath,
Okay. No
tell me
one's
to
ever
stop.
held their breath before, so it's important that you do this.
I'm delving into the unknowns. Okay,
Yeah.
ready? So
Well,
you're my safety valve.
by holding your breath,
Yeah.
not.
I'm not going to breathe.
That's
but
possible?
You just
Okay.
keep eye on my face.
I don't know how
And
you
make
do half
sure-
the things you do. You're really amazing. Go
Make
ahead.
sure nothing is going on. Okay, ready?
Yeah, go right ahead.
1, 2, 3.
No, nothing yet. Looking a little. No, I don't. Same. All the same. All the same. Huh. I guess don't hold breath. But I don't know how we'll know when we've held our breath too long. Because I couldn't really.
Hey, what are you guys doing in there? What happened to Gary?
Holy shit!
Does he look the wrong color to you?
I think Gary disappeared. Gary turned into the sky. Where the fuck did Gary go?
He looks like the trees to me.
Huh. You know, he does look a little like the trees. He kind of looks a little bit like wine.
Yeah, he looks wine colored. Definitely looks wine colored.
Huh. Well, what do you know? If you hold your breath, you turn into a tree.
A wine-colored tree.
This is amazing. We can grow wine from trees.
Just by holding our breath.
We've learned a lot today. Now, if you'll excuse me, I keep trying to turn this cow's milk colder, and I don't know why.
Gotta add sugar to it. Yeah, they were dumb. Ancient peoples. They were dumb.
So I would love to know what side you guys come down on here. Do you think it was simply because they didn't understand that they could separate the information that they didn't?
Why would they not understand that?
Or do you think that they just couldn't see blue?
I think blue was invented late. I think shit just wasn't blue yet. Yeah.
Hashtag that scarf and send that to us.
Let us know what you think. It's I don't know. I thought it was a really crazy idea.
It's a crazy story, but I think we're coming to two very different conclusions on this. You can let us know how you feel about it. I'm at A Carboni.
And I'm at Jeff Canada.
And hey, if you're enjoying the show.
Oh, I'm enjoying the show very much.
Well, I'm glad. Because you've been gone for a little while. You came back. I'm glad you still enjoy the show.
It.
I would love to know if the audience is still enjoying the show. And a great way to do that is to go rate us on iTunes by giving us 5 stars.
Oh, that 5 stars is very helpful. It helps with discoverability of the show.
Yeah, if you do that, they're going to ask you to write a review. Don't write a review.
There's no need to. No one reads those.
Yeah, instead, what you can do is you can write what your useless superpower is. Like, I'm the color king, but I would love to know what thing you're super good at that simply isn't marketable or impressive at all.
It's weird to me that Color King and Sauce Boy are the same person, because I felt like that one should be a sidekick of the other, but the fact that you're both.
You got to be your own sidekick when you don't command a lot of respect. You just go switch costumes really fast.